Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to draw a fully interactive stock chart with Python. We'll use the Y-Finance library to download historical stock price and use the Plotly library to draw the stock chart. So if you haven't already, let's go ahead and pip install Y-Finance and Plotly. For this tutorial, we'll be using the Jupyter Notebook because it's easier to display charts along with our code, and we'll use the Tesla stock as an example to draw our stock chart. Let's first import Y-Finance. Let's create a ticker object called Tesla, and we'll pass in the stock ticker symbol Tesla into the ticker constructor. To get historical prices, we call the history method of the Tesla ticker object, and we'll download the past 1 year historical data into pandas. Let's check the data by viewing the first 10 rows. So we have dates, open, high, low, close, and volume. In the previous tutorial, we walked through the Plotly Express. However, we won't be using the Express version today. We'll be using the full version, the regular Plotly, to unlock its full power. Let's start by importing plotly.graph objects as a go, and we'll draw a line chart using the closing prices. So simply create a figure object and pass in the data. We're going to use the scatter plot function and pass in the dates as the x-axis and closing prices as the y-axis. And in the mode argument, we can specify lines to make a line chart. So after creating this figure, we'll need to call the figure.show function to actually show the graph. This is very similar to how the matplotlib library works. For the scatter plot function, we can also draw a normal scatter plot by setting the mode equal to markers, or we can draw a combination of lines and dots by setting the mode equal to lines plus markers. Next step, let's add the volume data into the chart. To do this, we need to draw a subplot. Let's import the make subplot method, and we'll create figure using the make subplots, and we'll set the secondary y-axis to be true. Now we have an empty figure, and if we show this figure, there's nothing inside. It's just a blank figure. Another way to add chart to a figure is by using the figure.addTrace method. With this method, we can easily add multiple data series into the same chart. So first of all, we'll add the price into the chart, and notice how we set the secondary axis to be false for this data. Then when we add the volume data, we'll use the bar chart, and then we'll set the secondary y-axis to be true for this volume data set. So let's show the plot to see what we got. And it seems like some of the bars are really tall and covering the stock prices. So let's actually scale down the bars a little bit by setting a fixed range for the y-axis. And we can do that by using the figure.update y-axis method to set the range. So let's try maybe from 0 to 700 million, and it looks good to me, so let's keep it that way. And next, I want to hide these volume numbers on the y-axis, so I'm going to use the update y-axis and then set the visible argument to false. Next, we're going to make our chart look more like a stock chart, so let's change the price from line charts to the candlestick charts. And previously, when we draw the line chart, we used only the closing price. And for candlestick chart, for those of you who know, we need to use all the price data, open, high, low, and close prices. Let's run the code to see the chart. So it's not bad for just a couple lines of code. And with this candlestick chart, we also got a smaller chart at the bottom, and this is called a range slider. We can drag it to zoom in and zoom out of the chart. And if you don't want to see this, we can use the figure.update layout method to hide the range slider. If you enjoyed the video so far, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel and keep me motivated to create more tutorials like this one. We can also add an indicator for our chart. Let's try to do the 20-day moving average as an example. So first of all, we need to calculate the 20-day moving average, and we can do that quite easily with pandas. We can use the rolling method to create a rolling window. Then we can perform operations, for example, the average or the mean on a 20-day moving window. Once we have this moving average data, we can add it to the chart by using the addTrace method again. We're also going to modify the volume bars a little bit. Right now, all the volume bars are the same color. We want to change the volume bars to green for the days that stock price went up and red for the days that stock price went down. So first we can calculate the daily price change by taking the difference between the open and close prices. And for the days with positive changes, we'll assign the value green. Likewise, for the days with negative changes, we'll assign the value red. And since we already have the volume data on the chart, we don't need to change it. All we need is just adding an argument, marker equal to this dictionary and color, and then pass in the color column that we just created with the red and green values. So last but not least, let's add a title for the chart, which will say Tesla, and then we'll move it to the middle of the chart. So with this plotly chart, we can zoom in, zoom out, and hover the mouse over to see price or volume details. And we can also save this chart and send it to our friends if you want. The figure.write HTML method will save the chart into a web page format, which means that it will retain all the data and then all the interactive features of the plotly chart. In the next tutorial, we'll learn how to use the Plotly Dash, which is a framework for building fully interactive data applications on the web. And I hope you find this tutorial helpful and learn something today. I will see you in the next one.